too. I'm with you. Listen, that's why I am not jumping. Now, if some team called and said, we need a quarterback and we will make you a Herschel Walker trade for Johnny Manziel. Herschel Walker trade, the anniversary was just the other day, and that's why it's fresh on my mind.
Not at Jim Irsay's in drug rehabilitation.
Well,
I don't think any
let's not take cheap shot.
Yeah,
but you never know. Yeah, he's sitting there. That was one of the things in his circle. He was going, I traded a first-round draft pick for Trent Richardson. That was when I knew. That was when I knew I hit rock bottom right there. That was his rock bottom moment. But
that's
no,
all
joking aside, though, if he's doing 12 steps, he's got to make amends to the Colts fans for that one. But anyways, I'm just saying, if somebody wants to make a crazy deal, okay. But I meant what I said. Come back with it again. If people want to make those comparisons to a Rodgers type situation or Breeze and Rivers and that. Well, that's exactly how that went. Those other quarterbacks didn't start getting restless until year 3 or so, when it's like, okay, now I'm ready. You don't rock the boat. If the Browns believe, I have my question marks about Johnny Manziel, but if the Browns believe that he's developing and that he is eventually, I like the way Pettin said it the other day. He said it just right. We still like the guy. We still think he's going to be our guy. We just don't know when now. That's really been changed,
We don't know the day.
And I like that. I like that because they didn't lock themselves in. But you stay in a good position. If you think he's your guy, then he backs up for you again next year. And then you take life from there, because we don't know what's going to happen 1 week at a time, let alone one year at a time. But, again, like you said, the media gets bored, or they need something to talk about. So here we come with the next line of drama and the next story. And hey, I'm not saying this either. If the Browns are 150% convinced that Brian Hoyer has not even touched his ceiling yet, then maybe they do go a different direction. But it's not going to be because Brian Hoyer shook his finger and said, you can't have that guy on my team. Trust me. He knows that when you're the guy, you're the guy. He's watched Tom Brady. He knows that. So if he's the guy, he'll be the guy.
J-Rock, when Manziel came, Hoyer welcomed the opportunity to compete with this guy for the starting job.
He never cried. But he never cried. Right. He never ran to the media. He never complained about it. He just said, hey, let's go to work. May the best man win. And that's what I said on Monday, LG. You heard me. I said, man, if you believe that Brian Hoyer did that, then you're just, I can't help you, because that's ridiculous. If you think that this man
he's got far too much class to do something like that.
He's not that guy. And plus, he's not that guy. If you're better than me, go be better than me. But you're not, and I'll prove it. And that's what I like.
Let's look at Hoyer's track record. He sat behind Tom Brady for 3 years, J-Rock.
And by the way, real quick, let me jump in, LG. That's the best part, because people go, well, he sat behind. Well, big deal. Lots of quarterbacks sit. He wasn't sitting behind some guy and he couldn't compete with them for the spot. He was never in competition. He got to sit back and he got to go. LeBron talks about going to college in Miami. Brian Hoyer went to quarterback college in New England, and he got to sit back. And what did he do in his notebook? He said, man, I'm never going to play here, but I have to copy what this guy does so that when I do get a chance to play, I can be as good as he is. And he worked and studied, and who knows what his ceiling is, but that's the reason that he turned out as good as he is. But people make it sound like, well, he wasn't good enough to start in New England. There was never 1 second in New England
like
that he was going to start.
Winning this horse out of the race, man. I mean,
So let's be real about that. And then he bounced around to a couple of other places where he was in situations much like Cleveland. He got lucky that Mike Pettin had so much respect for him from last year that stuck with him. Because if it had been a different head coach, they may have just went with Manziel from the beginning and said, well, Arizona cut this guy and Pittsburgh cut this guy, so we're going to cut this guy too. And for whatever reason, maybe it's fate, Brian Hoyer ended up with the one coach who said, you know what? That kid's got some moxie, man. I'm going to give him a shot to win this job. And if it wasn't for that, who knows what we're talking about right now.
And you know what, J-Rock? Let's just talk about Johnny Manziel for 1 second, man. I'm still concerned. I'm still concerned of the Manziel style of football. And, I go back to my conversation 2 weeks following the NFL draft with Herman Fontenot. This guy played NFL football. He was on the teams that went to the championship games for the Cleveland Browns, and he knows a thing or two about football. And he said Johnny Manziel's style of play isn't going to work in the NFL, J-Rock. Now, you know the old story, you can't teach a new dog, an old dog new tricks, but let me tell you something, man. That's got to be one of the concerns of the Cleveland Browns is how long would a guy like Johnny Manziel really last in an NFL football game? If this guy pulls the football down and starts taking off running like he thought he could do in college, which he could do in college because, let's face it, you're not playing the top echelon of talent when you're on the NCAA football field, man.
Larry, you're falling for the trap, though, man. Why are we even wasting any time talking about him? I mean, I'm not saying that in a bad way. Hey, man, he's so far off the radar right now, it's not even funny. He's still learning how to be a quarterback. Meanwhile, Brian Hoyer's getting ready for Jacksonville, man. Real quick, because I am up against it. I've got Mike Brandenberry coming, but what do you think? Do the Browns, it really does. It has the potential to be a trap if you let it. I don't think they're going to. I think that they know yesterday. We know that we have to start fast and hard. I wouldn't be surprised to see them be aggressive early on, try to get a quick score or two in the first quarter and take that crowd out of the game. But this team just beat you last year.
What crowd, J-Rock?
Well, I hear you. I'm with you there, too.
It'll be all the Browns fans that are getting on buses and heading
That's very true.
No, that might pack that stadium
That's
Sunday.
Very true.
There
will probably be 30%.
It's all going to come down to how good our defense. If we see the same defense that we saw against Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers, I really like the Browns' chances of blowing out the Jacksonville Jaguars. But, we lost to that team last year, J-Rock Daddy, and we lost because Joe Hayden got burned at the end of the game. So let's not take things lightly. Let's get to a quick start. Let's get that defensive unit on the field, pumped up to play 60 minutes of Cleveland Browns football, baby. If we do that, I predicted another win.
I mean, they got close last week. They played, what did we play, about 45 minutes of Cleveland football, or good football, whatever you want to call it, depending on what your
every win's going to build some momentum, J-Rock Daddy. This defense knows they got to stick in there, and they got to play the game that they're capable of playing. You cannot let your guard down, especially against a wounded dog like the Jacksonville Jaguars. Anything could happen on any given Sunday. We all know that. We got to play 60 minutes of smash-mouth Cleveland Browns football. We got to get after Bortles. We got to teach him a few lessons about this guy's interception prone right now, as any rookie would be in the NFL, Absolutely. Man. Reading that defensive scheme, that takes a little bit of time and some years to learn. That's what Hoyer's so good at, man. This guy is playing almost mistake-proof football. He's got one interception in 5 games, right?
I agree. Yeah.
It's time for Joe Hayden to step it up. I'm hoping that him getting his hands on the last Roethlisberger passes sparks something deep within him that makes him competitive this week. And I'm hoping that the Cleveland Browns can show up and play 60 minutes of football. I said it all year. If we play 60 minutes of football, because we did see it for 30 minutes in the first game of the season when they came out smoking in the second half. This team can compete with anybody in the NFL. That's the way I'm feeling this year. It's been the first time LG's been feeling this way in really since I haven't felt this way since the Browns came back, J-Rock Daddy. I'm liking what I'm seeing on the field. I'm liking the momentum that this Hoyer brings with him. And I'm liking the fact that when you see him on the sidelines, he's out there rallying the troops. He's not just sitting on his doofus, not paying attention to what's going on in this football game. He's like, get me that ball, baby.
I agree, LG, my man. I'm with you. And I'll tell you what, I'll go further than you. If they play 60 minutes of football against Jacksonville, they'll steamroll the Jaguars. But that's the big if. Let's see. Because if they do, there's a difference. If we're talking about a victory, okay, man, they go down there and steamroll them, then that's really the next level of this thing. But you got to get there first. And
J-Rock, if they don't go down there and steamroll the Jacksonville Jaguars, then the team didn't give the 110% that they're getting paid to give, because we saw what this team's capable of. You don't get guys like the Pittsburgh Steelers praising the Cleveland Browns as being one of the best teams they played this season so far. Don't forget, Pittsburgh already played the Baltimore Ravens,
I
So,
agree.
you know, they didn't praise the Ravens as being one of the best teams they've seen this year.
They didn't say one of. They said that was the best team that we played so far this year. So, but you know, go out there and do it. And if you do, people will stop talking like this. They will stop throwing all these ifs out there, and we'll start looking ahead to the next one. LG, I'm up against it, my man.
3 in a row is going to speak very highly. That's what we got to do. We got to go out there. We got to win this football game. I'm not even looking ahead. I'm looking towards Sunday. I say give it 60 minutes of hell out there on the football field and bring us back another Cleveland Browns victory, Daddy. I'll talk to you next week, J-Rock Daddy. Let's go, Browns! In the meantime.
My man LG from Cleveland Sports 360. Thank you, my man. Fire it up. And you know what? It is funny, little by little, to watch the national names jump on a little bit. Randy Moss yesterday is the latest to say the Browns are good enough to make the playoffs, but being good enough to do it is not the same as doing it. We'll talk more about that, and of course tomorrow, full Browns preview with Jonathan Knight. Maybe Kendall Lewis will be with us. We'll have Jeff Gorman and Ryan Ruiz in the house as well as we get ready for Jacksonville. Right now, let's take a break, get you some news, come back with Mike Brandenberry from DidTheTribeWinLastNight.com. We'll talk some baseball, Royals and the sweep, and we'll look ahead there. We'll talk some Indians and more with Mike Brandenberry. DidTheTribeWinLastNight.com. Coming up next after the news.
We here at the Sports Fix want to make all of your dreams come true.
What about my dream?
Edith, I told you I can't build your candy house. It will fall down. The sun will melt the candy. It won't work.
It will if it never rains.
Oh, maybe not all of them. Get your fix on the Sports Fix.
This is head coach Gary Waters at Cleveland State, and you're listening to the Sports Fix.
Whether it's an oil change or a new set of tires, Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck has you covered for your automotive car care needs. They're your neighborhood quick service experts. They also offer a low price tire guarantee. Choose from 13 brands, and if you find the same tires at a lower price within 30 days, Quick Lane at Valley Ford will refund the difference. They're open late Monday through Thursday until 9 p.m. and open early Saturday so you can check it off your to-do list and get on with your day. They also have a newly remodeled service lounge and additional service bay just for Quick Lane oil changes. Quick Lane at Valley Ford Truck is located at 5715 Canal Road, right under the 480 Bridge in Valley View, just down the road from Independence. 5715 Canal Road, right under the 480 Bridge in Valley View, just down the road from Independence. Come see why life is better in the Quick Lane. QuickLane.com/Valley Ford Truck. That's QuickLane.com/Valley Ford Truck.
Business owners and professionals, do you want to take your business, your product, your team, your event to the next level? You want to advertise right here with the Sports Fix. Our listeners are among the most loyal listeners, terrestrial or internet. The Sports Fix universe is not only the radio show, but tens of thousands of fans on Facebook and Twitter. Email me, Jerry Myers, thesportsfix@AOL.com. That's thesportsfix@AOL.com. And let me help you swing for the fences and hit it out of the park right here on the Sports Fix.
The Sports Fix is now available every day on the world's largest internet radio service, iHeartRadio. Download the free iHeartRadio app, subscribe to the show, and get your fix.
News break. Good morning, I'm Bob Picozzi. Anyone remember Jagged Edge, Glenn Close, Jeff Bridges? It was #1 at the box office in October 1985, and that was the last time the Royals made it to the World Series. That is, until now. Jason Vargas and 3 relievers held Baltimore to only 4 hits and a 2-1 victory to complete a 4-game sweep of the American League Championship Series for manager Ned Yost's Royals.
The starting pitching was phenomenal. The bullpen was, unbelievable. Herrera, Davis, Greg Holland. Clutch hitting. Salvador did a great job of handling the pitching staff, and it was just a whole team effort.
It's only the 3rd pennant for the Royals. 2 bad throws by Cardinals first baseman Matt Adams helped the Giants score 3 runs in the decisive 6th inning in a 6-4 San Francisco win. That gives the Giants a 3-1 game lead in the National League. Game 5 tonight, 7 Eastern Time on ESPN Radio. The Patriots have won their last 11 home games. They'll host the Jets this evening in this week's NFL Thursday night game. Chiefs coach Andy Reid says wide receiver Donnie Avery will miss his 2nd straight game Sunday against San Diego. He continues to recover from core muscle surgery.
After 75,000 miles, hidden causes of breakdown like leaks and sludge can shorten the life of your engine.